That's not that much.
No. No.
That's what's good about it. It's like people aren't a burden.
Yes, because you have the space.
Yeah. If you live in New York City, if you live in LA, people become a burden because there's so many of them, you don't appreciate them.
See, the thing with New York, I agree. And New York now, it never felt that way. I've, my whole life there. But recently, New York has become a place, still great, still my home city, but the problems that you would always hear about, like, people would say, oh, it's conspiracy, or like you're watching that shit on the news. Now you're actually seeing it. Okay. So for, 39 years, I never had one altercation, not one altercation on the subway or in the streets with any kind of mentally unwell person in New York. There's a lot of crazy people, but like, they're not really fucking with you. Mm-hmm. 3 times in the past year, I've been physically assaulted or like had to defend myself against a mentally deranged homeless person. One time I was walking in the Comedy Cellar, some guy came at me and like just put his elbow in my chest, and I had to push him, and he fell over a pile of garbage. I just had to push him as hard as I can, where I'm like, I never dealt with that. And now you're starting to hear people who like would always kind of, never, ever, ever even think about like voting any other way, but the traditional New York way, are like, I have to now vote another way because it's not safe for me anymore.
Right.
There's crime, and the cops. I feel bad, man. The cops. If I was a lot of my friends are NYPD. They're like, dude, we wanna fucking police. We can't. I can't do anything. My boy was telling me a story. He's like, we were outside the projects, right? He goes, and we see this drug dealer selling drugs, right? We see him. He's selling drugs, and we know he's right there selling drugs. We arrest him. Out right away. Out. He goes. Then we saw him selling drugs to what we look like a 10-year-old kid. So we arrest him. We arrest this kid. We were seeing a child walk with a bag of drugs. Arrest him. Back out. He goes. So what do you want me to fucking do then?
Right.
I can't keep doing this.
Why do you think they're doing that? Living in New York City, why do you think they're letting people out like right away? There's no cash bail, right?
Right. I was told that's by my police friends. I was told that's what it is. It's that law is the big thing. It's like this bail law to get out. He said, which doesn't help anyone because why
was it made?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's not well received though. Nobody really. You're gonna in New York now. Even the people who are wearing like 40 masks during COVID are like, I don't want my city's like being destroyed now. So now I don't know if that changes in an election. If people will vote, I don't know. But I'm like, I see it now for the first time ever. I'm like fully seeing people injecting heroin. Fucking, it's wild. Even my father, who's like, I grew up in New York, my father's like, I remember New York in the 70s and 80s, which was like nuts. Like, it was like you would get assaulted. Everybody had AIDS. He was like, this is scarier New York. I'm more scared of this New York. Because, he said, in the old New York, you knew which neighborhoods, don't go in that neighborhood. And then you're okay. But this New York, I don't know where that shit's coming from. It's going to pop out of anywhere at any time. And you'll have people that will hear this and be like, you're exaggerating. It's not true. I'm telling you, it's true.
They just haven't run into it yet.
I'm telling you, dude, it's true. And when you are friends with the police, the cops, it's true.
Well, when you saw those illegal immigrants that came here that attacked the police officer and they were out on jail the next day, flashing the bird at the cameras.
Yep.
Like, that's crazy. You got someone who illegally enters from another country, assaults a police officer, and they're right back out in the street.
Well, and by the way, nobody, like any race or religion, doesn't want that in New York.
Right.
Like, nobody wants that. Like, that's not a thing that's like, that nobody wants that at all. So, like, I don't know what it's going to take to change. I mean, I will tell you that, like, a lot of New Yorkers blame it on Mayor Bloomberg. Like, he's the most hated ex-Mayor Bloomberg. He's the most hated person.
Really? More so than the last guy? Than de Blasio?
I'm sorry. De Blasio is what I meant to say. I'm sorry. Not Bloomberg. De Blasio is what I meant to say. I'm sorry. Right. Mayor de Blasio is hated like he's hated more than Satan. Like people, I was at a gym once in Park Slope, Brooklyn. He was on the elliptical and he has a security guard standing by him. He was the acting mayor. And I mean, people were just fucking trashing him as they walked by. Outwardly trashing him. because nobody gives a shit. We were like, the one guy was like, you fucking suck. And by the way, that's a girl's machine. That's a girl's machine.
Elliptical's a girl's machine?
That's what they said. And I was like, it's not.
Nobody's ever said that to me.
Yeah. They said it's
I
a
use
girl's.
elliptical machines.
I mean, dude, they wouldn't say it to you.
Workout.
But they said it was a girl's machine. And and I saw one of the security guards go like this. He just did that little laugh. But people hate him, and they blame a lot of what's happened in New York on him.
Well, he was definitely a fool.
Sure.
He was a weird fool. First of all, that's not his real name, right? He's not
No.
Italian. De Blasio's not his real name. It's like some sort of a German name. What's De Blasio's real name?
It's like Wilhelm, I think, is it?
Something very like Nazi.
Wilhelm.
Wilhelm. Well, what's really crazy is that video where he was doing that thing trying to get people to get vaccinated, and like you get a free burger, so he's eating the burger. Does fries come with this?
Yeah,
Warren Wilhelm Jr.
Yeah. And he just divorced his wife, which she also stole. They said like $80 million or something like that went missing.
Yeah.
That's gone. So they hated her. Now they're divorced. It's one of those things though where I just got to stay there. It's just home. You know, if I wasn't. Yeah, well, especially after what I told you I just did, I can't now uproot the family to Austin. As much as I want.
Are you thinking about it?
Yeah, well, when I come here, I'm like...
Are you renting right now?
We're renting right now. I can't take my kid out of school, though, again. I can't do it to my...
School's almost over.
Yeah, but my kids have went to... Now you're making me think about it. Give me an edible.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it. But
this is only 10? Because 5 puts
10.
me on my ass.
No, this is only 10.
Should I eat half or eat the whole thing?
10, you'll be fine.
Are you positive?
No.
Okay.
I'm not positive in anything about you.
Thank you.
Other than you like trans girls' feet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive about that. I don't think you'd lie.
I wouldn't lie. That's the one thing about me. I make shit up. I exaggerate shit. A lot of my comedy stories and stuff, exaggerate it.
Right.
When it comes to shit like that, I won't lie.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
I
the truth
believe
there.
you. This is a good place to live, but I don't think you should uproot your family again.
Yeah.
Unless you can convince them. Unless they come here and they really like it.
Well, Jasmine, my girl, has told me you can move us again in 5 years. Okay? 5 years.
That's not a good time to move them.
Well,
no, that's a bad time.
Why? Because she's saying
the
your
age.
13-year-old